Something hunts these mountains, shaped from myth. Formed by the spirit of the mountain man, he lives by the way he hunts. Born of the mountains, blood of the Indian, he survives by hawken and longbow. He's alone, he's free, he's forged by the elements. Journey with the last of a breed, Sasquatch Mountain Man. Beneath the romance of the mountain man lies the harsh reality of life in the open. It's a life punctuated by the clash of a steel trap, never pretty, but done right, swift and clean. And compared to other tangled ways of life in this complicated world, there remains considerable reason to recommend it to the enterprising young man. For winter provisions for the mountain man, there was nothing better than elk. Elk were once spread wide across the continent, found in more places than any other big animal. They lived in low country and high, but the mountain men knew that the place to find them was on the snowy ridges and peaks, deep in the dark canyons, and among the stands of looming black timber. Elk country has a perilous secret, though, one that it shrouds in white. It's a secret it keeps until it knows you've come too far. Then, like a trap, it closes on you, holding you in its freezing jaws, and it's up to you to find a way to survive its grip. It's the grip of deadly cold that Laramy will face before this adventure is done. Laramy is not the first to confront the icy bite of weather and have to resort to drastic measures to come out alive. For the mountain men, the shadow of death from cold and snow fell remorselessly across their trails as they made their way through the bitterest seasons of the year. The packs on the horses of Zenas Leonard and his compatriots were laden with a fortune of prime pelts when a pitiless blizzard fell upon them. Days of relentless snowfall brought progress to a halt as deep drifts choked off the passes and buried the trails. The party was forced to roast their treasure of beaver hides for sustenance. Finally, with nothing left for their pack horses to carry, and with the prospect of death by starvation staring them in the face, there appeared only one heart-wrenching judgment. Laramy knows the treachery that can lie in this peaceful, beautiful elk country, but can he survive it? Having fed out early, the elk are now on the move back to the protection of the dark timber. It's late in the season for bugling, but not for other ways of calling.
Elk, they gotta talk. They react to calling all year long. You know, you can't get aggressive like you do during the peak of the rut with them calling wise, but you can still just like cow calls or lost calf calls. you might find a big bull. He might come sneaking in, just curious, check things out. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sit here for a little bit, and I'm just gonna lightly cow call for 20, 30 minutes.
Even this late in the season, the cow calls bring a response that shatters the forest silence. Now, a winter's worth of meat hangs on one shot. Above the mountains gather threatening snow clouds, and across the peaks, Laramy hunts the elk he needs for his winter provisions. In just a second, the hammer on the Hawken will fall. The hammer falls, and disaster too. In his mind, Laramy considers all that could have gone wrong. But it doesn't matter. All that matters is that nothing goes wrong the next time he has a shot. Or, like some before him, he may be left without winter meat, or with a cruel choice. By the pitiful warmth of a meager fire, Zenas Leonard and his starving fellow trappers reached a harsh verdict: to kill one of their gaunt horses. Slitting open its belly, they plunged into its steaming raw intestines and gorged. Eventually, as they made their arduous way out of the snowed-in country, they devoured all their stock. Only luck stayed them from even more heinous deeds. Laramy is some ways from starvation, but he has to keep his cool and not let frustration get the better of him.
As much as I'd like to go chase these elk, I think they're gonna come feed back through here. If I'll just be patient, I'll get my shot. So I think I'm gonna hunker down by one of these stumps, get some brush in front of me, and just wait them out here till dark. It warmed up quite a bit today. It's been real cool in the teens. All day today it was 38, 40, 45. It tells me one thing, that there's a front coming in. More than likely probably gonna have snow in the morning.
As the hours of the day slink by, an unexpected meal comes into sight. Fox has been called unedible, but Laramy knows better. You add a little this, a little that, and a prodigious pinch of hunger.
Well, I already got some potatoes and found some wild onions. And now I'm putting some fox meat in here. Gotta add that protein somehow. Now tell me that doesn't look finger looking good. Nothing like some good old fox stew. You know, this is the first time I've ever eaten fox. I've eaten just about everything else in North America, but fox and coyote, two things I haven't eaten. And I'll never eat snake or horse. Not bad. I believe you could survive off it. I'm making my own bullets. I melted my own lead, casting it, the whole works. I'm self-sustaining. Yeah, it's not as much work to go buy it from the store. But you put yourself in that position. What if someday you can't get ammunition in the store? You know, you can't get any of the things to make ammunition. Well, you can get any of your lead stuff anywhere around. You can melt it down, and you can create yourself some bullets. I can promise you I won't ever starve. You know what I'm doing here is I've got this deer hide, and I've already salted it a couple times and stored it. That way it gets all the moisture out of the hide. What I'm doing now is I'm gonna finish fleshing the whole thing. There's still little pieces of flesh here and there that I didn't get off the first time. And I'm gonna get all this salt off and finish fleshing it real good. And then it will be ready to go in some water and soak, you know, to help seal them follicles of hair into that hide. And then I'll either wind up making a vest, or more than likely I'll make some stalkers out of it. But it's a very time-consuming project. I might be able to wear this next year. But it'll be that same deal to where it's something that I have made and I know exactly where it came from, and it makes me feel a lot better about what I wear when I know that my hands made it.
The morning, spread with a new blanket of white, is perfect for stalking.
Last night it felt like snow. The front came in, it warmed up for just a little bit. We got a nice little dusting. It'll help a lot for visibility, so hopefully this morning can be a good morning.
Although early in the day, other hunters are out.
Did you just hear that wolf in the distance? Did you?
It's a beauty to be judged warily. This is home to the elk, and for Laramy, the site of an unforeseen catastrophe. For Laramy, the hunt goes on, with hopes of no more misfires. There the elk are, on the move into the timber.
Just spotted some elk over here clear across the canyon. We saw a bull and some cows in here. Well, they were back in here this morning, but we got this storm came through. It's a full moon. They moved real early, before daylight. This is about 3 hours old, probably, maybe 4.
You know how you tell how fresh elk sign is?
Yeah.
You taste it. And if it's chewy or slimy, then you know it's fairly fresh.
The new fallen white snow is like the page of a journal on which the elk are writing a record for Laramy to read.
Drag's probably within the last hour. The reason I know that drag's within the last hour is you can look at it, and it was 45, 50 degrees today. Well, if that would have been made midday this morning, 3 hours ago, it would be hardened and melted, and you know, it'd be solid ice. Snow makes it a lot easier to track animals. Got some fresh out tracks. Looks like 2 cows and a bull going down this way. Looks like they just crossed. Got a mountain lion track. You can see his toes and his paw. There's fresh elk tracks. Looks like a mountain lion's probably following these elk. It's doing the same thing we are. Well, I want to eat before that dang mountain lion does. Or else the mountain lion might be dinner.
The hunters are out above the mountaintops. Laramy walks the ridges in pursuit of the elk, the wapiti, stateliest of all the deer, in the words of the mountain men. And now it's a race between Laramy and a hunter who treads on 4-clawed paws.
Well, there's a herd of elk clear across the canyon. It looks like I can see for sure one bull in the herd. It's about 10 o'clock, probably 9:30. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to circle around this canyon. It'll be about 2-3 mile hike, but I circle around this canyon and come in above them. And that way I can crawl down. They're kind of in the timber, so I should be able to get somewhat close to them.
These are mountains filled with deception, because that bright sun may be snuffed out in a second. Air, once warm, begins to be filled with drifting flakes of white. Flakes go from drifting to falling, and as the freezing white jaws close, it's time to make shelter to survive the night. If you know the traditional ways, as Sasquatch does, there's plenty here to build not only what's required for survival, but for true comfort. It may seem contrary, but one of the choicest things for keeping heat on the inside is snow on the outside.
You know, like they say, snow's one of the best insulators. And that's the truth. That wind kicks up tonight and it gets, 0 degrees or whatever. That snow is gonna keep me warm. Not my bedroll, not nothing like that. That snow, it'll keep all the wind off me. It'll be perfect. I'll be like sleeping in the Hilton Hotel or something.
But no mint on the pillow, and this is what Laramy will have instead of a thermostat on the wall. When the fire is reluctant to start, you add magnesium shavings and stand back. Fire, shelter, survival, yes. But as important is the sense of self-reliance that's earned. In the bright morning sun, the place to hunt for wapiti is on the south slopes, where they can soak up the heat after a frigid night. This is one shot Laramy is taking no chances on.
about 80 yards and don't even know we're here. I'm gonna whistle and hopefully he'll stand up.
The bull stands, a fine 5x5. And there is no question on this shot. He's down.
Tell you what, I am tickled to death, and he is gonna eat wonderful. He's gonna feed the Sasquatch family, that's for sure. Well, it's been one of those hunts. We've been at it for quite a few days now. Then we got all the snow and the weather, and we got the elk up and moving, and we had to work a little bit for this guy, but it finally all panned out. Look what I got. I got back straps, and elk back straps, not little whitetail back straps. Got the good stuff.
No horses were harmed in the making of this program. And Laramy's winter meat will see him farther along the trail of the mountain man.